All right, folks, it is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, and we have XRP and crypto history in the making. We have stablecoin legislation advancing in the Senate, moving forward, while Bitcoin smashes up, runs up, walks up, crawls up to a new all-time high. We'll see how much momentum it can carry from here, but a new all-time high for Bitcoin has been achieved. And then as far as XRP history in the making, well, we're getting our first ETFs going live. I just got off a call with the CEO of Tucrium, and I'm going to be actually interviewing him at XRP Las Vegas next week. He had the first XRP ETF live in the United States. That's some history that we've already made, but we got a lot more on the way with XRP working on closing its 6th consecutive month above the levels that we broke out to when XRP went to its previous all-time high back in 2018. So I know folks are antsy for a new all-time high for XRP. It's right around the corner, and we're going to provide a full breakdown of the current events, financial markets, in the history in the making right now for crypto. If you aren't bullish, you must not be paying attention. Let's get right on into the update. Everything's at my website, zachrector.com. U.S. Senate has officially advanced the Genius Bill for consideration. For those of you guys who are wondering what the heck is going on, I'm right there with you. We had the cloture vote yesterday. That passed. Now we have another vote that took place this morning so that we can confirm that we want to debate this bill. That passed. So now we get to debate the bill. We get to make amendments. We get to change. And after this is done, we will get the official and final vote from the Senate. Once that gets passed, it moves on over to the House of Representatives. Once it gets passed over there, then it moves on to President Trump's desk for the signing into law. So we still are a little ways out here. We know Elizabeth Warren is going to be throwing a tantrum on the floor of Congress there, arguing why, it's going to be the end of the world if we pass stablecoin legislation. So a little bit of debate, a little bit of back and forth, but we are advancing, and that's what's important. That is history in the making, along with Bitcoin making history, going up to a new all-time high this morning. Here's what Michael Saylor had to say. If you're not buying Bitcoin at the all-time high, you're leaving money on the table. This is some great financial advice from Michael Saylor. What do you guys think about this one? If you're not top blasting the chart for Bitcoin, you're leaving money on the table. Well, personally, I'm going to be playing this one a little bit different, not financial advice, but I'm looking to enter a new Bitcoin short, and that's probably going to be, later today or sometime in the next week as I watch for Bitcoin to top out here. That's when I'm going to be looking to enter a fresh Bitcoin short. So you guys can, follow in Michael Saylor's footstep and top blast the Bitcoin chart. Don't follow me. I don't give financial advice, but I'm telling you what I'm doing, and it's the exact opposite of buying the top of Bitcoin. Now, speaking of Bitcoin, let's take a look here at the chart. We're back down to 107.5. Actually just dipped by about 1,500 in the past 20 minutes as I was getting ready to record this update here. We were already up at 109,800, 109.7, 109.8, an official all-time high. I'm on the Qcoin chart, but I did go check the Binance USD Bitcoin pairing, and it also hit an official all-time high. So we did it. Bitcoin has set history a new all-time high, but we are already moving back down. I might have missed my opportunity to enter that Bitcoin short right at the very top, but we'll keep you guys updated on that one. XRP was up to $2.42 this morning, $2.43 actually, but now we are moving back down as well, back down to $2.35. So we'll be watching to see. We need Bitcoin to top out, roll over, and settle down. And then I think that that's going to give room for XRP and others to accept that liquidity from people taking profit on Bitcoin and rolling it into other cryptocurrencies that are going to far outperform Bitcoin for the rest of this bull run. And I should mention that XRP already is far outperforming Bitcoin since the election of President Trump in November. Not even close. If you look, Bitcoin's still only up about 50% from the election. XRP up over 370% since the election. So it's just not even close. But Michael Saylor thinks that you should go buy the top. Okay. Big update for DEG, Constellation Network. Delegated staking is off to an incredible start here with over 300 million DEG staked so far, 1,225 delegators, 68 active validators, and the top validator already holds 68 million DEG. And what's interesting about DEG is how low that supply is of DEG tokens. I already did my DAG deep dive. You guys can check that out in my 2025 coin review playlist. Very bullish on this project. It's way undervalued, but the fact that they've rolled out the delegated staking, this is a great step forward. A little bit of history for DAG. And then the next step is they're going to be rolling out their DEX. So there's going to be a DEX on DAG here shortly. So a little bit more history in the making for DAG. That's good to see. Now, another project, a little sleeper that I'm very bullish on is Zebek Network. The ticker is ZBCN. I already did a deep dive on this one as well, also in my 2025 coin review playlist. And I'm going to show you the chart here on Zebek here in a second. It's blasting off. Big move for Zebek this morning. But I'm going to play a clip from a space that was held this morning between Uphold and Zebek, and they hinted at a product that Zebek is working on with Ripple. Take a listen in on this one.
Well, I mean, we've been hearing it more and more recently. I'd say at Zebek, we have a ton of respect for Ripple and XRP and what they've built. I mean, in fact, we've been in talks with them now for the past couple of weeks about a potential product that we're working on together. So I'm not going to get into too much detail there, but we're definitely on their radar. And I'd say it's definitely a company that Zebek respects a lot.
Simon.
Wow. So a little potential product partnership with Ripple. That's going to be very interesting. In the meantime, we're watching a massive green candle get printed on this Zebek chart. Look at this one. Look at this one. And, you know, we did our deep dive way back in here. It's already ran up significantly. I'm well into my profit on Zebek. If I measure right now, here's where I bought. I'm up 140% on my Zebek trade, and I still see a lot more upside on this one. But Zebek blasting up here to 0.0023 this morning. So nearly a quarter of 1%. Okay? Massive move here for Zebek. And we'll see what that partnership with Ripple might end up being. But very interesting update. I still got to go back and listen to that Uphold space with Zebek. I missed it while I was on the call there with the CEO of Tucrium. But I'll be following up with you guys on that one. Both providing an update on DAG and Zebek, two low cap gems that I'm very bullish on. I would highly recommend you guys take a look at both projects. And I've bought my Zebek on Caleb and Brown. It's also available on Uphold as well. And I have those links up down below for you guys if you need them. Now, Crippen Rider with the update on the ramping up of liquidity on the XRP ledger. Now, this is the title of last night's live show, Ripple ramping up liquidity on the XRP ledger. And it's because we got this tweet from Jack McDonald where he confirmed that one of their priorities for the team is ramping up ROUSD on the XRP ledger. More to come on this front. Now, Crippen Rider gives us the update here. We're already at 67 million ROUSD minted on the XRP ledger and 246 million ROUSD on Ethereum. And he says, the more we see the priority switch from Ethereum back to the XRP ledger, the more I suspect the ratio will even out over time between both chains. Now, I want to give a shout out to my friend Bunny Boy. I was listening to Trench Warfare last night, and I usually reference Bunny Boy for technical analysis, and that's just his username. I know it sounds silly, right? I'm talking about Bunny Boy. I'm a grown man referencing my friend named Bunny Boy. I know how ridiculous it sounds, but we're in the crypto world, and we're dealing with degens and ridiculous usernames. So that's where we're at. This is what we do for a living these days, is we talk to guys named Bunny Boy. Never thought that I'd be here. But he made a great point last night. What Ripple is doing by having RLUSD on Ethereum, not only have we talked about being able to bridge that liquidity back to the XRP ledger, but they're also taking market share from Circle and all of the other stablecoins that are issued on Ethereum, right? By having RLUSD available over there, it gives everybody within those ecosystems the ability to hold RLUSD instead of USDC, instead of USDT, instead of all of the other stablecoins that are already on Ethereum. Now we start to take some of that market share. So it's like what Ripple's doing by having RLUSD on Ethereum is we're taking it to their home court. We're basically taking market share from stablecoin issuers like Circle and others on their home field on Ethereum, right? And so I thought that was an interesting point that he mentioned, but it comes back to Jack McDonald saying that their priority right now for the team is ramping up liquidity on the XRP ledger. I know a lot of folks confused. Why are they issuing on Ethereum and the XRP ledger? You want to be able to bridge the liquidity between the two. And also, we're taking market share from Circle, right? Before we end up buying Circle, we're already taking market share away from them, right? And maybe Ripple's negotiating that at the table right now. They're saying, we're going to have to discount your valuation a little bit because we're already taking market share from you guys, and you know it. You and I both know that our RLUSD is taking market share from you guys right now. So we're going to have to ding you on that valuation a little bit, and we're going to have to bring that price down. And I'm not going to comment any further on the quote-unquote bidding war, other than I've made my statement. I don't think that Coinbase is serious about buying Circle. I don't think that there's a real bidding war taking place between Ripple and Coinbase for Circle. I don't think that Coinbase is in a position. I think they're bluffing. And I think that Ripple knows that too. But that's just my speculation. We'll wait to see till we get an official confirmation of whether or not Ripple buys Circle, whether or not Coinbase buys Circle. Until then, it's just speculation. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, speaking of deep liquidity, this is a new report that was put out by Kraken. Crypto Eddie shares this. XRP's market depth rivals the largest digital assets with 226 million in daily volume across 5 exchanges. Coinbase at 152 million, Kraken, Bitstamp, and LMAX making up for the rest of that. Since deemed not a security and can support large trades with minimal price impact, signs of a more mature market. Now, continuing on that thread, Digital Asset Investor shares the XRP futures outperform both Ethereum and Solana launches, and not a word from the financial propaganda media CNBC. The war on Ripple and XRP is not just from random Bitcoin maxis and the Senator Loomises of the world. The mainstream financial media is in on the agenda as well. Now, funny enough, I was literally just talking about this with the CEO of Tucrium, who launched it not only was it their most successful ETF launch, that 2x daily long, double XRP is the ticker. They launched the first XRP ETF live in the United States. It was their most successful ETF launch ever, but it was actually in the top 5 of ETF launches ever. That's how much demand there is for exposure to XRP. And so when these spot ETFs come, this is why I think that the JP Morgan prediction of 4 to 8 billion of inflows into the XRP ETFs, I think that that's conservative. I think that we're more likely going to be looking at 10 to 20 billion plus of inflows into the XRP ETFs in the first year. And I've already broken down the math and my speculation on what that would do for XRP price-wise. But they're all in on this together. And this, further evidence of how much we're going to see in inflows into XRP, we can bring it back for more proof to how well the XRP futures did on Monday when they went live on the CME. More demand than Solana and Ethereum. Because I've already had pushback of people telling me there's no way that the XRP ETFs are going to be more successful than the Ethereum ETFs. And to that I just asked, well, explain to me why the futures launches have been way more successful. Not even close. More successful than Ethereum and Solana combined. Please explain that one to me. Now, speaking of XRP price, I know people are getting antsy, but this is why I wanted to share this context with everybody here today. This is shared here by Saul. The green dotted line is the current XRP price. Those candles are December 2017, 199 close, and January 2018, which is when we went up to an XRP all-time high, but it didn't last, right? You had one monthly close here above right at $2. We went up to an all-time high in January, and then it came right back down. So we are working on our 6th straight monthly close above the massive run 7 years ago. Here's the chart right here, right? So when you zoom out, I know a lot of people are focused on the 5-minute and the 10-minute, or God forbid, the 1-minute chart, and they're way zoomed in, playing around with their XRP. Zoom out and get yourself a little bit of context here. This is XRP history in the making right now, because we're in the middle of our 6th consecutive month of closing above that $2 level, of closing above the level that we were at when XRP went up to that all-time high. Now, would this be typical of a bull run coming to an end? Would this be typical of, the run being over? No, the exact opposite. This tells us that we are consolidating before our next leg higher, and we're talking about a $4 XRP with ease. And I've, been firm on my prediction that we will fall short of $10 on the initial run up into price discovery, right? We're not just going to blast through to an all-time high and then blast through $10. I don't think that it plays out that way, and I'd be happy if I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong and us blast through $10. But it is my opinion that we're well on our way above $4 and $5, but we will meet sell pressure as we approach $10. But it's right around the corner, and folks need to understand that XRP is making history right now. XRP has never been this strong as it is right now. And if you've only been here for a few months, your comments are irrelevant, with all due respect. Your comments about being impatient, if you've only been in XRP for a few months, are absolutely irrelevant. They mean nothing. And I try to remind folks of this. If you're having a bad day, that's not a reflection of XRP's fundamental value. If your wife is mad at you, it's not a reflection of XRP's fundamental value. Your emotional state is not a reflection of XRP's fundamental value. So take a step back, go touch some grass. You'll make up with your wifey another day. And XRP is on its way to a new all-time high. XRP will be setting history with a new all-time high price this year, 100%. So please prepare yourself accordingly. I've told you guys where we go short term. I've told you guys where we go towards the end of this year and the next year. And the fundamentals for this cryptocurrency space couldn't be more bullish. Not only is XRP setting history, Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, stablecoin legislation on the way. We are entering a new reality that fundamentally couldn't get more bullish for cryptocurrency. So take a step back, understand that context, and make sure that you're prepared for the next move, because it's another leg higher. It's an XRP all-time high. It's a double-digit XRP. It's XRP at $1 trillion market cap, and the market cap bros, their mind is going to explode when it happens. And I hope that you're going to be here with me to watch it all unfold. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys appreciate our content. If you do, make sure you like this video. Help us out by sharing it out far and wide. All of our resources are available at zachrector.com, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.